This is Broward Housing Solutions, and we're here with Bob, and he's going to share with us his story.
Hi, my name's Bob Randolph. I'm a client of, that's what we are, right, clients? A client of Broward Housing. They are in my life. They helped save it, and I'll get to that. My story starts, obviously, I was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Not obviously, but I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. I grew up kind of poor, Irish Catholic. So you didn't cry, you didn't worry about anything, and you never showed fear. It's just the way you were taught. You knuckle everything out. That was it. You don't complain, you just do it. Unfortunately, that doesn't always work in life, and you can't always do that. I wasn't the best student. I was probably, on a good day, a C student, and on a bad day, I wasn't there. So I wasn't a great student. I was once told I was never going to accomplish very much. I better learn to sell something, and I kind of took that to heart, and I did. I learned to buy and sell, and I learned to do those things. I had a rather meager childhood. My father left 3 months before I was born. I never had a father. We grew up a little rough. Mom was a cleaning lady. She didn't have anything spectacular going on. She was just another woman with a kid. And this was in the 40s and 50s. I'm 68 years old, so I come from dust. It just, my mother, we were on welfare as a kid at times. She held a little job. She didn't have great health. I was a latchkey kid, 1950, 5 and 6, 7 years old. I could get into the house because it was just me and Mom. And I had to be able to get in the house if she was at work. So they didn't even invent that term until sometime in the late 60s, 70s, somewhere. That became a popular term, latchkey kid. We were out there before that. I'm not resentful, I'm not mad, I'm not angry about it. I probably was at one point in my life all upset by it, but today I'm not. It was just part of the past. It was just part of what happened to me. I knocked around Philadelphia till one day I was on a trolley and there was an enlistment place. And I got off the trolley and joined the Army. And you really don't need to know all about my miserable childhood. That's not important. It wasn't the best, but so I joined the Army, and in 1964, in 1966, I went to Vietnam. I did 2 tours in Vietnam. Earned my stripes, and then came home an absolute mess. We weren't welcomed home. We weren't greeted. That hurts, still hurts. But it happened and it's over, and there's nothing I can do about history. That's why Napoleon's not around anymore. He's history. So that's history. What's going on now is, though, I have a life. And I came to get that life through a lot of ways. I did all of the wrong things. I used drugs, alcohol, women, anything that made me feel better that minute, I self-medicated. Not knowing I had other problems, not knowing I had emotional problems and mental problems and PTSD problems. I didn't even recognize that it was just life, and it was miserable, and I was wading through it. However, with the help of God and organizations like Broward Housing, I've been able to now mature into my age and become an active, participating human being again. I was not a human being. If you knew about me, what I know about me, you wouldn't like me, okay? But if you know about me, what I am today, you'd probably say I'm okay. I get emotional. Sorry. I don't dwell in the past very much anymore. I don't dwell there. I kind of try to forget it. But sometimes it needs to be said. People need to hear it. I was a drug addict, a thief, a liar, a cheat, immoral, and fattening. I did things that were despicable. I don't anymore. I don't anymore. I don't try to cheat. I don't try to lie. I don't try to steal. I can do without it now. I don't have to have instant gratification anymore. The jobs that I had when I was trying to make it, I was never a good employee. I've had about 200 jobs in my life because I wasn't able to maintain a good job for very long. I would come apart and get mean, nasty, and vicious and blow that job and go on to another one where I'd be all smiles for 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks, 3 months, 9 months, a year, and then one day all hell would break loose and nobody needed Bob around anymore. And they didn't want me around anymore because I created a lot of havoc. And I got used to that. I would go to work sometimes, leave and go to work, get in work at 8:30 and be home at 9:30 because I was fired at 9 o'clock because of being who I was. I didn't like authority. You couldn't say anything to me in the wrong tone of voice. I would get nuts. Scary nuts. And threatening, and those things aren't good. They don't help you. They hurt you. They hurt every human being that you come in contact with. They're afraid of you. I had people scared to death of me. And that ain't a nice way to live. It's just not cool. You scare people, you scare them forever. There are people today, if I walk in the room, they'll get up and leave. They'll be scared of me. I'm not proud of that. I'm just letting you know that that's the kind of human being I became. I wasn't even a human being. That's the kind of animal I became. I had no kind of sense of humanity. I didn't care what happened to another person in life. I didn't care if somebody fell down the steps, I'd laugh. Okay? That was funny to me. That was humor to me. Somebody was getting the crap beat out of them. Didn't bother me. It wasn't me. Not my problem. I'm not going over there and getting involved in that. I was not really a nice human being. I was not really a nice person. I was intolerant, indignant, disrespectful, prejudiced, bigoted, lying, cheating thief. That's what I was. I did time in prison. I didn't go to just jail. I went right to the big time. I committed crimes and went to prison for it. I thought I was cool. I ran around with tough guys. I was kind of a knock-around guy. I ran with a little crew for a while, thinking I was cool. Sold and bought drugs, sold and bought other things. Did things that weren't nice. Today, I try to do something good every day for even one other human being. I know it's kind of stupid, but if I pull up to an intersection and I have $1 today, and there's a guy who needs it, I don't care if he buys a bottle. Whatever he needs that day to get through the day is what he needs. If he needs a hamburger, he needs a hamburger. If he needs a bottle of beer, he needs a bottle of beer. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell him what's right or wrong. I'll give him the dollar. because I know what it was like to be there. I know what it was like to beg. I know what it was like to steal food. I was always at highs or lows. I was either had a lot of money in my pocket from some nefarious activity, or I was dumpster diving. And I was always scared to death that I would end up that guy with the shopping cart, with the bags hanging off of it, that everybody turns away from when they see him coming, because they don't want to look at him, because we're all afraid we'll be there. Could happen. I was petrified of that. And during my prison times and things, I finally found a spiritual understanding. Never had that. I was born an Irish Catholic. I wasn't a Catholic. Priests weren't my friends. I didn't go to church. I went to church one time and was told to get out of confession. I hadn't been there in 10 years, and I was no longer a Catholic. That's when it was a real church, and they had, like, they didn't have guitars in there. Okay? That's the way it was. And I'm not mad at that guy either. But in doing time, I said to God one day, I don't know if you exist. I don't even care if you exist. You're supposed to help me. And he did. He got me to read. Reading got me out of there. So I wasn't there when I was in the book. Any book. Any knowledge. I grabbed at everything I could learn. And I came out, and I didn't want to be that guy anymore. I was fortunate. I hung around with big-time convicts. Organized crime guys, bank robbers, things like that. I came out with a photograph with a guy's arm on my shoulder, which stood for, I'm vouching for this guy. He's okay, he's stand up. Take his knocks, won't rat. That's what that meant. And I was told to go to this restaurant and give that photograph to a guy, and I could have been a limousine driver and a leg breaker. Or I could have went to a sober house and got into AA and changed my life. I never used the photograph, I still have it. It reminds me of what I gave up. But what I've gained is immeasurable. People trust me today. Trust me. I wasn't trustworthy. People like being my friend today. They aren't afraid of me, so that's why they're my friend. They're my friend because they're my friend. I do try to give back now. I'm not rich. I don't have money. I can't give away money. I can give time. I can give effort. I can give things to help. So I do a little charity work at a soup kitchen. Once a week, I try to make a meal, and I serve it. I want to be there giving it to them. It kind of makes me feel better. If it helps me, I do it. But people, I've had corporations that give me boxes of food, cases of things. They trust me to deliver them. I'm not going to take them to the flea market and sell them. They don't know where I'm going with it when I drive away, but they trust me to give it to people that are hungry. My cause is hunger. I don't want to see anybody hungry. I do this because it helps me. Probably more than it helps the guy I'm feeding.
Um, I care about people today. I try not to use negative terms about people today. I don't use the short terms. I don't recognize things. I don't recognize colors or borders or handicaps or I just don't recognize things today. Everybody's another human being trying to get through it. And it's rough. It's especially rough at the borderline poverty level and below. That's almost a terminal disease. If you're a kid today born broke, you're going to stay broke. We almost have a class system today in this country that is getting harder and harder to get out of. If he can't get an education and learn how to use a computer, he's going to dig ditches the rest of his life. He's going to change tires at the tire store. He's going to rob, steal, cheat, and go to jail and use drugs. Not everybody. I'm not trying to blanket the universe with bad times. I'm just saying, he's got a better shot at the bottom than he ever does at the top. Okay? And in life, I'm noticing a lot of ingratitude. I'm noticing a lot of guys who get to college, get the football, get the pro uniform, and then blow it. There are only so many pro football players. How do you blow that job? Okay? How do you get all the way to there and then become an idiot? I can't figure it out, but people do it. It happens. It's life. For me, I don't want to ever have anybody say, hey, there was a time he was okay. But now he's just another piece of crap like he used to be. I can't go back there anymore. I take my medications now. I used to refuse that stuff. That's another thing. The VA has helped me enormously get settled and give me, I don't know, it doesn't matter the volume, but I take a lot of medications. I take them for various reasons. I take some for psychology, some for physical, some for pain, some. But it makes me a better person to use it, to take it, than it did if I was just in pain and get miserable and mad and angry again. So I found that if I'm not hurting, I'm not usually going to be grumpy, and which means I'm usually a better guy. And I try to be a better person every day than I was the day before. You know, I just try. I open the door for people. I say good morning to people I don't even know. I never do that before. I used to look at you like you were supposed to open the door for me. You know, I don't do that today. I open the door for anybody, man, woman, child. I don't care. My job is to make life easier for everybody. Makes it easier for me. I came to Broward housing kind of fortunately, I guess. I know I needed help. I went to sober places. I went to a lot of treatment centers. Treatment centers only go to work while you're sitting in a room. When you leave and you're stuck with yourself, if you don't like yourself, you're going right to do what you did. You're going to mask. Right? We need people to help people not to despise themselves anymore, not to hate themselves. I know when I was using drugs, I hated everything about me. When I was really hating myself, I used more. And it happens quick. You start out at a party, and the next thing, you're stealing to get it. You're robbing to get it. You're doing everything, conniving to get it. I robbed my ex-wife. I bought her camera equipment because that's what she liked. She was a photographer, amateur photographer. I pawned it to buy drugs. I took the gold that we had acquired as I was working for the times that I could work. I made decent money, and we would get, you know, Christmas. I pawned it, stole it, and pawned it to get drugs. Okay? I did nasty things. She still talks to me today. She's my best friend. We're ex, but she's my best friend in life. I have problems, I can call and talk to her. She'll answer the phone, she'll talk to me. She'll help. That's a big deal. Anyway, I ended up being told to go to a place called Volunteers of America. And I went and knocked on the door. They had a veterans program. And I was so down and out and so desperate not to end up with that shopping cart that I said, I gotta go up and ask for help. God gave me the strength to ask for help. I asked, I got blessed. They helped me. The program moved to another. For some reason, that program moved for another, I don't know the politics. Moved. I went with that. It ended up here at Broward Housing a few years ago. And they made life, Broward Housing has helped me enormously. I gained back some self-respect. I live in a nice place. I have a clean apartment. I can pay my bills because they help me pay my rent. I live on a fixed income and they help me tremendously with that. You have no idea how helpful that would be. If I had to pay the full rent of $800, I'd be living on $200 a month. I'd be back doing the things I did. You can't live on $200 a month. In this day and age, it's $20 to get out of bed. I find it that way. So I don't know what other people find. I just know that when you need help, when you're down and out, and you're desperate, you'll do nasty things. Okay? But you have to. If there's one thing I can say is, if you need help, go ask for it. And keep asking for it. Keep banging on doors. Keep asking for it. Eventually it'll come. And when it does, it'll change your entire life. It'll change your entire perspective. It gives you peace of mind and security. When I get up in the morning, I'm not worried about where I'm going to sleep tomorrow. I'm not worried about if I have a place to live. I'm not worried about if my clothes are clean because I can put them in the washer and dryer and clean them. I can afford the soap. I can afford a watch. I can afford a telephone. I can afford electricity. I actually pay my bills. I'm not moving anymore every 30 days because I can't pay the rent. I'm not moving I'm not dodging the electric company anymore. I feel good about myself now. My bills are paid on the first of the month. Okay? I make sure I pay those because it's part of what gives me peace inside. It's part of what makes me not afraid anymore. I was afraid of life. Now I'm not. A little late to get that way, but I'm there. Okay? But for those people who need help, if you're listening or watching, and there's some weirdness going on in your life, and I don't care how much money you have, weirdness can go on in your life. I don't care who you are, weirdness can go on in your life. Okay? Perfect example of the Kennedys. All the money in the world, all the problems you ever heard in your life. Okay? Perfect example. And I'm not using them as any good or bad target. Just that's America's picture. It can happen. You need help, I beg you, go get it. I'm telling you it's there, go get it. I know it's slow. I know it's agonizing. I know it doesn't come when you want it that day. Okay? But I also know where you can go and get a meal every day. I know where you can get a meal every day, I'll tell you. You can go to All Saints Soup Kitchen and you can eat every day from 2 to 5. They'll feed you a meal. It may not be what you want. It's not pot roast and, you know what I mean? It's not lobster, but it's a good meal. And you walk away with your stomach full, and it makes your heart feel a little better, and it makes your body feel a little better, and it helps. That's why I use food. Food, I think, is a nourishing thing for more than just our bodies. If you're not hungry, that's a relief. If you're not hungry, you're a little less desperate. A little less desperate makes you a little more human. And that's just how I work it. It's how it works for me. I don't know if it's right, wrong, or indifferent. And I don't really care. At this point, I don't care. It works for me, and I don't worry about blue lights behind me because they're not coming for me anymore. They're not looking for Bob anymore. I'm not on their radar. I'm not a problem to society anymore. I hope I'm probably not an asset, but I'm a help. I'm one more cog in a wheel that helps somebody. And so you're a part of something bigger than yourself. You want self-respect? Do something respectful. Okay? One thing I didn't realize, I demanded respect at one time in my life. For a long time, I demanded respect. I didn't do a damn thing to earn respect. I didn't do anything respectful. But I thought you should respect me. Today, I don't care what you think of me. I only care what I think when I look in the mirror in the morning and shave. That's what's important. What you think about me and what you say about me is none of my business. That's your problem, not mine. My problem is what I say about me and what I think about me. That's the problem that I have to fix. And those are the things I'm overcoming. With the help of Broward Housing Solutions. Without their help, today, I'd be worried about that cardigan. And I haven't had that nightmare in over 2 years. And that shopping cart was a nightmare to me. I know that they can't cure everything for everybody, but there are places that can. There are clinics here that help. You just have to make it happen. You have to knock on the door. You have to ask for it. Yeah, and you have to be ready to accept it. It's another trick to getting better. You have to be ready to get better. Because if you're not going to get better. Okay? You lay in bed with cancer and say, oh, I got cancer, I'm dying. You're dying. You lay in bed and say, I got cancer, but I could do these things and it might be better for me. And you do them, it might get better for you. And if it don't, you're still doing something better. So, I mean, you're doing better than you were just laying there. So, that's a help. Any small piece now. I'm used to small pieces. I don't look for the pie. I look for the crust. So, I'm grateful. I don't usually delve into who I am. And you don't need all the dirty details. You don't want to hear them anyway. And then I don't want to make you mad at me, so I'm not going to tell you all the dirty details. But I will say this. I live a life now that's better than anything I ever thought I was going to have or anything I thought I was going to want. I'm not a knock-around guy anymore. I'm just another guy today. I'm not a knucklehead today. I can think through problems. I don't have to fight through them anymore. That's what they give me. They give me the ability to say, okay, you have to wait. I've gotten patience. It is a virtue. I didn't believe that. People would say it and I just like snuff it off. And I'm an idiot. No. Patience is a virtue. If you can be patient, life can be good. And I had to learn that. I had to learn that I didn't need everything I needed. I had to learn that my suits didn't have to have somebody's name on them. I was just saying earlier today, I'm wearing $18 worth of clothes bought at the flea market. And I'm happy in them. And they're clean, and they're mine, and they're nice. I don't look like $18, but that's all I spent. And that includes the watch. So I'm just saying today's better, and I can do it. I can live life today at a cost I can afford. Not above my means, not below my means. I can live where I need to be, for me.